loves, favorite part of the week. We are on for our weekly Q&A, Ask Me Anything. So you can type in the comments anything that's coming up for you around money, sex, and God, anything that's coming up around your sex life, anything that's coming up around your relationships, around suffering or struggle or trauma or pain, anything that's coming up around abundance and flow. I'm here for 15 minutes and you can type away your questions. Let me know. Those of you that are doing the pleasure challenge, how fun, right? We're having such a blast in there. There's over 300 of you. Oh my goodness, I just broke a thingy. There we go. There's over 300 of you and it has been so much fun in there. And we are on day 6. So everyone is currently in like total pleasure bliss. They're slightly blown out because they're like, I didn't realize I could have this much pleasure in my life. And we're like, yeah, and then some. And things are happening, right? Like things are, it's amazing. Like people are like, wait, all of a sudden I'm booking all these clients and all of a sudden my money situation is quadrupling and all of a sudden my relationship is getting better. My sex with my partner is like worlds better. We're having cosmic orgasms together. All of a sudden I'm releasing shame, releasing past stories around my sexuality, healing relationships with exes or family members. And it's nothing that I'm doing. This is entirely an energy that they're tapping into, right? It's simply an energy and there's nothing that needs to be done in that energy except to drop into it. So those of you that are there in the pleasure challenge, even if you're half-assing it, we still love you if you're half-assing it. I'm the queen of half-assing watching videos. And look, it doesn't matter. It's about staying in the flow. Yeah, Bess, you're in the pleasure challenge and you said, I'm feeling this energy so good. Yeah. So good that's a bit of an inside joke between me and Chris Bale. Those of you that know Chris or watch his stuff, he's epic. If you don't know him, you should check him out. He's really aligned with truth. But we talk pretty often and he always says to me, Genevieve, I imagine that, well, in his accent, which I can't do, but he goes, let me try to be Chris, hang on. Genevieve, I imagine that you are just constantly rolling around on your floor saying so good, all day long. And he's right. That is basically what my day is. So if you have questions, this is your chance to ask them. I'm on for another 13 or 14 minutes. Beth says, she says yummy all day long. When we can make love to life, life loves us back, right? When we can reflect ourselves outward, the essence of our being outward into the universe, the universe gives us back the essence of us. So then from that place, that union, right, we dissolve. And in the dissolving of ourselves, through sex, through pleasure, right, it becomes not about us at all. And that's where true freedom lies. I always say my favorite thing about my sexual awakening was recognizing that I'm not actually anything. Recognizing that I'm not here and there's nothing to do. There's such liberation in that space. And in that liberation, when you go on a first date, it doesn't matter because you're not here. When you have sex, you're just being. There's no agenda, there's no pressure, there's nothing to do. When you are dancing crazy in the middle of a room, which I did this morning, it doesn't matter. It's just play. It's just fun story experiences. We don't have to assign any narrative to them when there's no character, when there's no one actually there in the narrative. And what we can do is throughout the day, time to time, we can drop in and become this iteration of ourselves that we want to be in order to serve the people around us. And then once we get to serve the people around us, that's where true wealth lies, right? I constantly when I have thoughts that arise, which is very infrequently, but if I'm in self-pleasure and I have thoughts that arise, the thought is often of a client and their experience, or of a client that's being created that's not in my sphere yet. And I'm there thinking of what iteration of Genevieve gets to show up to be the mirror for them of their own truth, right? And we do it through sex and pleasure, which is hella fun. Destiny, beautiful question, thank you. Destiny said, have you practiced celibacy and what are your thoughts? Yeah, Destiny, I have. It's funny, whenever, New York, ambulances, whenever I practice celibacy, there is this, I've done it a few different ways. So the first time that I practiced celibacy, I did it because I wanted to prove to myself that I wasn't a sex addict. This was before my awakening, okay? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 90 days. I think I made it to like 82. Couldn't do 90. And then I went into deep shame. And by the way, the person that I had sex with at 82 days was like someone I'm like love deeply, and he's like an amazing human. And then I went to all the shame and guilt around it, and then I got mad, and then I like beat myself up and blah, blah, blah. I've noticed that what happens for me when I go into natural celibacy, right, it's enlivening. When it happens naturally in that, and I think, you know, celibacy is an interesting word because it's assuming that sex is intercourse. It's assuming that sex is penetration, and sex is not that. Sex is every moment of pleasure. Sex is the exchange between two people when they look at each other in their eyes. Sex is how you touch my shoulder. Sex is how you caress your partner. Sex could also be intercourse. It could be crazy, kinky fucking. It could be all of it. But there's an assumption with the word celibacy that it is simply intercourse. And that makes it tricky, right? Because it's like, why are we putting this intercourse thing as like this big get-to place, right? Once we eliminate that and we recognize that we can actually have more pleasure in our body when we make love to everything, when everything becomes sex, when the orgasm is constantly filtering through us, we don't need a penis and vagina, if that's what you're speaking of. I have gone a long time. I don't have much penis and vagina sex because my energetic ripples, my energetic orgasms, my own self-pleasure practice is so fulfilling. It's so nourishing that when I have another human in front of me, I have a very high discernment radar now. And I'm not going to interact with them unless it's like at least close to the level that I can give myself my own pleasure, right? And so I'm no longer in the space of needing sex and no longer in the space of even needing celibacy because I'm in a natural flow of what my body wants, right? So I tend to move away from rigid boxing and boundaries of what people need to do, right? I don't think that celibacy, when we claim celibacy, it does much except for kind of push away our natural flow. And if the natural flow brings you into a space where you want to rest your erotic energy and you want to translate that into a dance performance, or you want to translate that into writing your book, which I've been doing, or you want to translate that into connecting with your friends or your family, you can 100% do that, but it comes from a place of discerned choice, of aligned choice, right? Rather than the should space in your mind of what you think should be happening. So Destiny, I hope I answered your question. That was a beautiful question. Thanks for letting me play on that. And hi, Lauren. Hey, baby. Those of you that don't know Lauren Harkness should know her. She is a fellow New York sex goddess, tantrika, amazing. She co-founder of the Tantra Institute, and their classes are incredible. Get to her, go see her, like her page right there, Lauren Harkness. You should love her because she's amazing. I'm on for another 3 to 4 minutes. I've got a client in 10, so ask me any other questions. I'm here for you. Let's see. 6 of you on. Destiny says, yes, I'm so glad I asked this. You are crystallizing a lot of what I've been thinking and feeling. So much truth and rawness in your words. Awesome, Destiny. That's beautiful. Thank you. And know that when I speak, Destiny, I'm simply mirroring back to you what's in your own consciousness. Right? So like Genevieve's not actually teaching anything, just is. And so when I channel, I'm channeling for you what's already there for you, and just mirroring that right back to you. So this is really, if anything, just a reflection of your work and what and your feelings and this new iteration of destiny that's coming forward, this new goddesshood. Yeah, great. Any other questions? I'm here, and if not, I will be back next Friday. Wait a few more minutes. This is your time. Any questions that are coming up for you? If you still want to join Bloin, what's Bloin? If you still want to join the Pleasure Challenge, that you can totally do that. That is in my group called the Pleasure Tribe. So you could just search for the group, the Pleasure Tribe, and request to be added. We're on day 5, so you're gonna have to go back and watch the other videos. And we have a live call Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you get in there. It's gonna be a party, like a total pleasure party, and you'll get to meet me and talk to me and all that good stuff. And I can't wait to see your faces. So definitely jump into the Self-Pleasure Challenge if you're not in already. It's super fun. Yeah. Anything else coming up? Pleasure Challenge. So the Pleasure Challenge, I do this every couple months. It's a 7-day challenge that has over 300 people in it, close to 400. I think we're at like 380 now. And every day I'm giving you 20 to 30 minute exercises of different ways of self-pleasuring, which is basically self-pleasuring is a way to decondition your nervous system so that you can find the essence of your being, which is why it's so important. And there are very specific differences in each day. They're very different. So you might love one day and hate another. It's totally great. I'm speaking to all of the different nervous systems of pleasure that are out there. So you can come on there, do the challenges, and then at the end, the prizes are over $2,500. For everyone who completes the challenge. It's pretty insane. So you definitely want to get in there, and I can post the link now. I see another question being asked as well, so I want to make sure I get to this by Christina, who's in our Self-Pleasure Challenge. Hey, Christina. Christina says, seems there is a ton of shame around sex. I feel it as being indulgent as opposed to self-care. Is there a daily practice to release shame? I'm in the Pleasure Challenge. Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is that there's a part of you that feels like having daily pleasure is shameful, right? So there's a part of you that is bringing that up into your awareness. So what I would play with is I would see if you could identify that part of you. Where does that part of you live? Is it in your belly? Is it in your heart? Is it in your pelvis? Is it in your back? Is it in your throat? Identify that, and then identify some qualities of it. How heavy is it? What color is it? How big is it? What shape is it? And then once you have that, start to identify how long it's been there. Right? And then I want you to start asking it some questions. So allow it to, whatever shape it's coming up as in your imagination or in your awareness, turn it into something that you can speak to, like a person or an animal or even an object that has a mouth, right? Or just you might even be able to speak through your mind. So pull it into something that you can speak to, and then start to have a conversation around what its goals are for you, right? Why it's there, what it's afraid of. Is it even yours, right? So maybe this part of you came in from parents, came in from society. It might not even be yours. And then once it names its goals for you, I want you to have like a little party where you give it all of the goals. Give it all the goals. Let it fully experience the goals. And then ask it if there's any more goals that it has for you that may be more spiritual, and see what comes up. And just keep doing that over and over again. Have a little party and then ask it. Have a little party and then ask it. Have a little party and then ask it. And then there'll be a point where this part of you no longer has any goals and feels fully satisfied. And then I want you to just rest in that space. And you can do that practice every day before your self-pleasure challenge. I think that would be really useful for you. Thank you for that question, Christina. That was beautiful. And we can also work together on Sunday night if it feels good for you in the pleasure challenge party. All right, guys, I have to run because I have a client. But I will see you all next Friday, same time, 3 p.m. Ready to answer whatever comes up for you. Love you guys so much. Mwah. How do I do this? End.